Bootstrap Business Broadcasting presents the Profit Power Podcast.
I've been successfully utilizing social media marketing on a daily basis since 2008. I built countless campaigns from scratch for hundreds of entrepreneurs and small businesses. I performed social media campaigns for multi-billion-dollar corporations and for several of my own successful businesses as well. I've mastered Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, Google+, Reddit, Tumblr, and all other relevant social media platforms over the years. And with me and my team, you get a professional who are passionate about social media marketing and experts that have been there every step of the way since the beginning with MySpace, Facebook, AOL Instant Messenger, and the early days of Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. The industry has certainly come a long way. Social media marketing is very difficult to execute effectively these days. The market has become saturated with brands running mediocre campaigns and social media platform algorithms that change almost daily, which can reduce organic reach and even paid reach. Without an expert that works with these social networks daily, you can end up damaging your brand or at least throwing away a lot of money in the process. I also understand the big picture that social media marketing fits into, with years of additional experience under my belt with SEO, web design, email marketing, mobile application development, customer service, business blogging, and more traditional marketing mediums. I understand that social media isn't just a closed system, and it should complement all of your branding efforts while driving revenue. So Facebook marketing, is primary means of a lot of companies getting their brand out there online and for social media. Originally, for Facebook marketing, you would get an enormous amount of organic reach. You'd post anything on your page, and maybe half the people who like your page or who followed your page or at the time who are fans of your page would see that post, and you wouldn't have to pay a dollar. That all started changing, of course, in 2013, where Facebook really started to drive, advertising sales, and organic reach, dipped down to 20%, and then the next year more like 10%, and then after that it became pretty much as low as 1 to 2%, and these days even less than 1% for a lot of pages, especially if you don't have a lot of engagement on your posts. And if it can sometimes be a vicious cycle because, if you don't have a lot of engagement on your posts, then Facebook is even less likely to show your posts and your results in people's feeds. So it just kind of gets worse and worse if you don't put money behind it. And now, even more recently, Facebook just decided to try and improve the experience for regular users. So they're going to see more posts from their friends and family, and less results actually from pages and from ads as well, paid ads. So there's a lot of different strategies you can do to try and improve your reach on Facebook without throwing hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of dollars at the issue. So first thing is to include a lot more interesting media posts. So high resolution images that have a minimal amount of text or even no text, because you can always add that into the copy of the ad itself. If you have too much text, you might not be able to boost that post with an ad, or they might just show it less organically as well. Facebook doesn't like to kind of clog up people's feeds with a lot of images or even videos with a lot of text in them. It just kind of comes off as spammy. So you want to do that. You want to promote engagements. You can ask different questions. You can have contests and giveaways. That shouldn't be your only primary strategy, but it's definitely an option to get some people interested, keep people's attention. You can share the posts to profiles, to groups, post in events. You want to get the most bang for your buck on Facebook paid ads, on Facebook boosted posts, on sponsored advertisements. You really want to go with the powered editor. So on there you can really customize your audience down to the pages and the topics that they're interested in, their age groups, of course, whether you're trying to target millennials or teens or Gen X whatever it is, and of course by, location as well. But I mean, you can really get into the nitty-gritty of every single data point that Facebook has, because they have pretty much all of our data, and target the ads as much as possible towards the audience that you're trying to reach. Facebook marketing is very important. There are 2 billion Facebook users out there, but it's not everything. You want to diversify your social media marketing a little bit, so you also want to be on major platforms like Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, Snapchat. I mean, you can go on forever. So what you can do to in essence amplify your Facebook posts is you can kind of cross-post the content across other platforms as well. You're going to reach more people. You're going to reach a different demographic on each platform. If you're posting a video on Facebook, obviously you can post that back onto on YouTube, where it can live permanently. Post it as well on Instagram or Twitter. You can pin it onto Pinterest. If it's an image, obviously you can share that across any platform. For Snapchat, you can just take kind of a live picture or a live version of whatever you're trying to promote. You can put the media in an email newsletter. The sky's really the limit. So there's other ways you can kind of get around the limitations that Facebook has been putting on advertising. But no matter what you do, you really need a sound strategy. You need to stay on top of the latest developments, the latest changes with the algorithms, and you need to make sure that your posts and your strategy aren't mediocre. You don't want to just be using boilerplate tactics and just generic images, and you really have to make it special. You have to really stand out, because there are tens of millions of marketers out there doing the same exact thing as you, and it's congested. So you really need to do the absolute best you can to increase the quality of your content, and that's going to really drive visitors. That's going to drive conversions as well. A lot of people have written off Twitter over the years. I mean, it's always played second fiddle to Facebook, of course, which has around 2 billion users. But over the past 3 years, it's played second fiddle to Instagram and Snapchat, which have really increased in popularity. Instagram is now up to over 1 billion users. Snapchat is in the hundreds of millions of users, although it's plateauing a little bit these days. But Twitter is actually a very effective tool. Now it always has been, and you're actually going to grow your website traffic and your SEO benefits a lot more with Twitter if you do a good job than you will with Instagram and with Snapchat and even some other social platforms. Twitter is actually in a better position than it was years ago. It's actually profitable for the first time ever, and a lot of companies are really kind of after the Snapchat distraction. I think they're getting back to basics and getting back on Twitter. More users are going back on there for instant news articles and for even whether it's business or politics or popular culture. But user growth is back up on Twitter, and you really want to take advantage of that. Again, generate some leads, bring people to your website, and convert them into sales. I mean, it's pretty simple. I've been using Twitter for the last 10 years, and it's just incredible. Every single day I generate hundreds, sometimes thousands of website views from Twitter. I've done that for plenty of companies I've worked for, and it's just kind of like the giving tree. You just keep gaining benefits from it. So if you've been told that Twitter's dead, then you've been misled, basically. So it's still a viable social platform. You really need to take advantage of it. You don't want to make it the cornerstone of your social media marketing strategy. You don't want it to be the only thing you focus on, but it should definitely be in the top 3, 4, 5 platforms that you utilize. Media network right now that you might not be utilizing, but you can get a lot of benefits from, is Reddit. So, I mean, you've heard of Reddit, over the years, as kind of a unique forum for, it could be gamers or nerds or popular culture, but I mean, they have a Reddit community for pretty much everything, whether it's an obscure topic or just, a major industry, you'll find a community there on Reddit. It actually has hundreds of millions of users, I think 300 or 400 million at this point, which is enormous. Puts it up there in the, top 5 or 10 social networks. It has a different dynamic than other social platforms. You really can't go in there and just start, believe me, I've tried. You can't just go in there and start self-promoting, immediately and, kind of just posting links to your sites or videos or, spamming groups or communities. They're called subreddits. So what I would recommend doing initially is kind of get a feel for, how the community works. I would, join a few of the, subreddits. And also, if you're going to do paid advertising, again, it's an option most people overlook, but you can get a lot of good value out of it because it has been overlooked by a lot of, marketing agencies. If you want to start generating some leads online and really become an influencer in your area of expertise, there's a website that you might not be very familiar with, but that is very effective for you to start, to join and start engaging in. And that website is called Quora. It's Quora.com. And it's kind of a mix between, you could say, like Reddit and LinkedIn, kind of a forum, like a question and answer forum, like Google Answers or Yahoo Questions or something like that. But definitely a great community of, experts, people asking questions, and, you can find pretty much any question or any area of expertise on there, and and help people out while promoting yourself and promoting your websites and growing your reputation. So I mean, I've just been using it honestly for the past year and a half, maybe even less, and I've generated maybe over 500,000 views to my profile and my answers. So in those answers, you can also provide links to full articles you've done or videos that you've done. I might post something, with a link to this video that I'm doing right now, and for them to get additional information. Or you could say, this is the answer to your question, and if you want even more, even more insight on this topic, here's a link to my website, or here's a link to my YouTube channel where I cover this topic in depth. If you want to learn even more about it, and it works fantastically. Quora has, somewhere around 200 million users right now. I mean, it's a large and growing community. It's again pretty highly, regulated or moderated, curated, whatever you want to call it. So there's always a little bit of spam, but there's not as much as you might find on other social platforms, and you can really get a lot of value out of it. Put in a couple hours a month or something like that, answering questions and connecting and networking with other people, and you can get a lot of benefits out of it. So try Quora.com, if you haven't already. So the reality is that when it comes to social media marketing and really getting the results that you're looking for, you get your brand out there, generate some leads, and obviously, most importantly, generate revenue or conversions, whatever that is to your business. It can take hours a week, sometimes dozens of hours a week, depending on the size of your business, the size of your budget, what social media platforms that you want to focus on. It's not just about, starting a Facebook page and then, posting once a week or posting like a little picture every day. There's a lot to it. You have to post on, you have to post high quality content, which means creating the content. Then you have to promote the content either with an ad or with, organically, try and generate some engagements with it. There's follow-up on every single post. There's follow-up on, messages that you're going to get through, through Facebook or through any platform. Put all your eggs in the Facebook basket, and then Facebook starts changing its policies like it has been over the years. Then all of a sudden, your social media marketing can really take a nosedive. If it's not one of your core competencies of your company or your role within the company, then you're losing out a lot of productivity. So you really need to hire an expert when it comes to all these platforms. It could save you hours or dozens of hours of time, and everybody knows that time is money.
Thank you for listening to the Profit Power podcast. Subscribe to stay tuned for the next episode.